Now, there's something to be said for media, and media starts more bullshit than they want to admit to. Joe Scarborough on Morning Joe started that shit about qualified and unqualified, and that turned into a firestorm. The Daily News started the bullshit about Bernie being unsure of his answers about breaking up big banks, etc. Okay, and Tameron Hall, you know, she attempts to start stuff, but a lot of the times the people that she's talking to, unless they really are not that well informed, they can basically check her. Now, in this particular segment, she's going to be talking to Karen Finney, who is obviously a Clinton surrogate, and she's going to try to, I guess, start up some additional bullshit, but Karen Finney didn't basically fall for it.
Putting one part of their feud to rest, Senator Bernie Sanders this morning sought to cool a war of words between he and Hillary Clinton. Sanders spoke at a town hall style event at the Today Show earlier, and when pressed about his real feelings about Secretary Clinton and her qualifications to be president, here's what he said.
Here's the truth. I've known Hillary Clinton for 25 years. I respect Hillary Clinton. We were colleagues in the Senate. And on her worst day, she would be an infinitely better president than either of the Republican candidates.
She's qualified.
Of course. But the point is, I would hope that we get away from these attacks, which, by the way, the media likes very much, and start focusing, maybe we can do that today, on the real issues that impact the American people.
Do you worry, though, Senator Sanders, that as this campaign goes on and on, that the damage is being done or damage is being done to whichever of you becomes the eventual nominee?
No, again, that's media stuff. Here's the real stuff. People out here want to know why they're working longer hours for low wages. Kids want to know why they're graduating college $50,000 or $70,000 in debt. People want to know why we have so much income and wealth inequality. What I have found in this campaign, let me be very honest with you, is the world of what the media is interested in and what the people are interested in is day and night.
Karen Finney, Senior Advisor for Communications and Political Outreach and Senior Spokesperson for the Hillary Clinton campaign. Karen, thanks for joining us.
Sure.
So we now, I think, can officially put this behind us. Both of the candidates agree that they are qualified, or their opponent is qualified. However, Bernie Sanders' wife, Jane, made the point that the Clinton team says, listen, we are on the same page. There are distinctions between Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders. She makes the point that Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton are not on the same page.
See, and here's Tameron trying to start some shit again. Jesus.
If elected, they would take the country in different directions.
Well, they do have different ideas, but I think in terms of the core values, the difference between where Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton are is night and day from Ted Cruz and Donald Trump.
Yeah, but that's clear.
But in terms of like not shutting down the government over Planned Parenthood funding, for example. But let's take one of the key differences. You were just talking with former Secretary Reich about it. When you talk about breaking up the banks and when you talk about Wall Street reform, Hillary Clinton agrees, absolutely we need to do that. But her point is we need to go farther. We need to deal with systemic risk in the system because Glass-Steagall, as a number of experts have said, is not the reason that we had the crash. He keeps talking about the need to bring back Glass-Steagall, but her point is there's more we have to do to really address what was the problem. When you talk about...
Okay, but if you know anything about Glass-Steagall, and Karen Finney is right, Glass-Steagall would not have prevented the crash, but it would have greatly softened it so that it might not have been a crash, but it would have been basically a trip and fall instead of an out-and-out crash.
Affordability. Her plan from the beginning has $25 billion investment in HBCUs, that you raised that, but also says we need to not just, it's not free for everybody. We don't want to pay for Donald Trump's kids to go to college, but that we, that the state has a role, the federal government has a role, and the student has a role. But she also believes you have to have a mechanism in there that actually gives and creates an incentive for colleges to reduce their cost. If you just say it's free, why would I ever reduce my costs? She also believes you've got to let students who currently have debt refinance that debt. I mean, some kids have like 14% on their loans. So there are differences. I think they're trying to get to a similar place, but they would get there very differently.
Going back to what Jane Sanders said, that this country would be different if her husband is elected. And for the point that you make regarding just education, you know, Hillary Clinton has made the implication or just come out and said that a lot of these ideas that Bernie Sanders has floated are unrealistic, that they are not attainable. And his supporters, to polish here, his supporters certainly believe they are.
Yeah.
So those are two different paths.
Well, and here's what I would say to that. There have been a number of independent analyses that have said time and again, the numbers don't add up. And so when you look at, for example, his health care plan, that is a very big difference. He wants to do single payer. Hillary says, let's build on the system that we have now because there is a practical reality. I guess one of the things, though, that I take issue with is it's not, you know, she is aspirational in terms of wanting to do big things. I mean, equal pay for women is a big idea. Building on what the president has done with the criminal justice system or you know, when we talk about education, those are big ideas. But there are some real differences. I'd say guns is one of the areas where it's very, very different.
When the campaign, though, says you're on the same page, is that just a soft pitch to Bernie Sanders supporters? If she gets the number needed and gets the nomination, she knows she will need these supporters. So to sell this idea, to soft float, we're on the same page, gives her a chance to bring them into the fold more easily.
I guess I take a different view in that I don't think we've said across the board we're on the same page. I think we've said our values are similar, where we're trying to go is similar, that the difference is, yes, there are real differences. For example, she does not agree with giving liability, you know, broad, you know, the gun manufacturers shielding them from liability. He did. He voted for that. So there are some real differences. He's voted against the Brady Bill. So when we talk about, you know, gun safety, very real differences, no question. But again, I think the point we've tried to make is there are similarities, and I think that is something that no matter who is the nominee, members of our party will have a comfort that whoever is our nominee, I hope it's Hillary, has the right values, the right progressive values to move this country forward. That's why she's upstate today talking about jobs, because that's at the heart of it what people really want to talk about.
Karen, thank you very much.
All right, so let's clean this up somewhat. As far as the banking situation is concerned, what Bernie's talking about is banking going back to the way that banking used to be, i.e. depositors and loans, okay? People would come in and deposit their money. The banks would in turn loan that money out for mortgages and business and various other things, get their money back. That was pretty much their sole function. Credit cards were not an original vehicle of the banks, but the banks stepped in and picked up credit card functions. Okay, guess what? I could probably live with that. Anything above that, i.e. investment banking, that needs to be handled by a completely different, as I was saying, so credit cards, yes. Anything above credit cards, i.e. derivatives and other financial instruments, no. You form, if the banks want to form a specific company and capitalize that specific company in order to take care of that stuff, i.e., investment banking, okay, let the investment bankers deal with their clients and, money that they're investing. But regular depositors needs to be the biggest firewall, giant wall, China wall between all of that as possible. Now, as far as healthcare is concerned, we have a history as far as that's concerned, okay? It basically, it's called a Medicare. That's a single payer system, and it works really well. And all you need to do, if you're going to go onto that system, everybody with a Social Security number, okay, a legitimate Social Security number that can be checked instantaneously, gets to utilize all the health care that they need. It's single payer, and then the government negotiates with all of these doctors and hospitals and etc. And the government, obviously, being the insurer, let's call it insurer, first and last resort, their power to control costs would be astronomical. So yeah, we need, Obamacare is great. We're 20 million short of having everybody insured. If you can get Obamacare to cover that other 20 million, fine, I'm with you, Hillary, so that everybody's covered. My goal is get everybody covered any which way you can. Okay, third, education. Same thing. They start talking about, well, I don't want Donald Trump's kids to be able to get a free education. Donald Trump's kids are not going to a public college or university. Those motherfuckers are going to Harvard and Yale and private universities. So for you to make that argument is bullshit. But they are citizens, so they should be entitled to go if they choose to. They just won't choose to. All of the well-to-do people of means in this country will get their kids into private universities, so the rest of us will be dealing with the public universities, and all we need to do is keep them up to snuff. 1, 2, 3, all the bases covered.